Shalom and happy Purim. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Tzav, meaning you shall command, the second Torah portion in the book of Vayikra, Leviticus. Like most of this book of Vayikra, our Parsha is all about drawing close to Hashem. That's the purpose and goal of everything that takes place in the Holy Temple. The portion of Tzav continues to focus on the korbanot, the temple offerings. Some offerings are brought once a year, some once a month, some once and some twice a day. Now, it's important to always examine both the psychological and the spiritual aspects of the process that takes place within a man who brings an offering, and how this divinely mandated, highly motivated effort to separate between the animal spirit and the manly soul serves to empower man to refine and ultimately to sanctify his often sullied humanity. Most important to remember is that the word korban, meaning drawing close, indicates a process that takes place between man and God for the spiritual benefit of man, not for the enjoyment of God. How this works goes way beyond the limitations of the scientific mind. The korban, which can literally be defined as a closeness offering, is just that, an exercise in closeness serving to bring a man closer to God by creating a renewed connection between the individual and God. But open up your heart, because really, this week's holiday of Purim shares something in common with the book of Vayikra, and with our portion in particular. Just as God's presence was hidden throughout the Purim story, so too the concept of the temple offerings is elusive and tends to defy our understanding. The eternal truths of the temple offerings are hiding. And this confluence between the highly misunderstood subject of the korbanot and the inner truth of the Purim story finds its greatest expression in a remarkable teaching of our sages regarding one particular offering, which, once again, in a display of divine synchronicity, we learn about in this week's Torah portion of Tzav, coinciding with Purim this week. Now, some offerings are intended to improve a person's personal relationship with God by giving him the opportunity to draw closer of his own free will, was his idea, such as the shlamim, the peace offering, the word being connected to shalom, and also meaning complete, because such a desire to be closer to Hashem and to work towards separating our godly soul from our base animal nature is another step along the path towards becoming a more complete person. Among the many types of korban shlamim that may be brought, the Torah describes the shalmei nedava, or neder, an offering brought as an act of one's own free will to fulfill a vow or pledge, a conscious decision. But open up your heart in the deepest way. Chapter 7 of our parsha features one particular type of peace offering known as the korban todah, the thanksgiving offering. Todah is in the word thank you. And its purpose is just that. I just called to say I love you. I just brought this korban to say I love you, really to say thank you. The korban todah is a voluntary offering brought by an individual who wants to express deepest thanks and recognition of the Creator for some special deliverance he experienced in his life. In Tractate Brachot, the Talmud states that there are 4 types of people who are obligated to give special thanks for their safety. Those who sail the sea, those who traverse the desert, one who was ill and was healed, and one who was incarcerated in prison and released. In a well-known teaching, our sages tell us that in the future, in those days known as Atid Lavo, the future rectified world, all the offerings will cease as they will no longer be relevant, and only the thanksgiving offering will still be brought. This korban todah will be brought forever because it has some sort of eternal significance. This is the meaning of the words of Jeremiah in chapter 33. So said Hashem, there shall be again heard in this place concerning which you say, it is desolate without man and without beast. In the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate without a man and without an inhabitant and without a beast, there will be heard the sound of mirth and the sound of joy, the voice of a bridegroom and the voice of a bride, the sound of those saying, thank Hashem of hosts, for Hashem is good, for his loving kindness endures forever, bringing a thanksgiving offering to the house of Hashem, for I will restore the captivity of the land as at first, said Hashem. King David alludes to this in Psalms 56 and verse 13 when he says, upon me, O God, are your vows. I will pay thanksgiving offerings to you. So what is the secret of the thanksgiving offering that makes its significance literally eternal? On a simple level, we can understand that in the future, life will be perfected. All evil will be purged, removed from this world. And since there'll be no lacking, there'll be no need for anything but praise and thanks. The Korban Todah will be a constant because there will only be thankfulness. In this light, we can also understand that this thanksgiving offering is the choicest of all the offerings. It's not brought for atonement of sin, and it has nothing to do with someone making a personal tikkun. It's only about giving thanks to the Almighty for His kindness. But what is the connection of giving thanks to the time of the future? Atid lavo. After all, this offering is brought as acknowledgement and thanks for being healed from sickness or danger and the like. But if in the future rectified world there will be no wars or disasters or illness, so what will we be giving thanks for? So open up your heart deeper than ever before in your life. The main aspect of thankfulness at that future time will be not regarding the events of the present, but thankfulness for the past. When Hashem's true glory is revealed, we'll finally understand the secrets of the way He conducted the world, and it will be revealed that all the things that we went through, that we looked upon as suffering, were really and truly for the good. Then it will be understood that what at the time appeared as loss and suffering was only due to our perception. It was only as a result of our short-sightedness and limited understanding. And when suddenly the whole picture will come into view, a person will want to thank the Creator in a whole new way, expressing thanks and acknowledgement over all the incidences that we had looked at as suffering and anguish in the past, and so we never said thank you because we thought that they were bad. This resonates with another important insight based on another verse that speaks about that same future time. And this one is in Zechariah 14. And there the prophet declares, on that day Hashem will be one and His name will be one. Our sages famously ask, what does that even mean? On that day Hashem will be one and His name will be one? Is He not one now? And they answer, but your heart has to really be open to hear this. They say, nowadays, upon receiving good news, we recite a blessing in recognition of Hashem's goodness. And the blessing is worded, blessed are you, Hashem our God, King of the universe, who is good and who does good. And when we are told of bad news, God forbid, we also recite a blessing. We say, blessed are you, Hashem our God, King of the universe, the true judge. However, our sages tell us in that future rectified world, when Hashem and His name are one, we will only recite one blessing over everything, the blessing of who is good and who does only good, because at that time we will have the capacity, the clarity of vision to recognize that really it's all good, it always was good, it always was intended for our good, no matter how it seemed to us at the time. It's only when we'll have the ability to see the whole picture that we'll be able to appreciate the true nature of Hashem's constant kindness. And that's the vision of the rectified world, when Hashem and His name will be one. And thus we are taught that when a person knows and believes that everything that happens is really for the ultimate good, that is like having a little taste of the future world now, in this world. This is the meaning of the concept that in the future, the Thanksgiving offering will never cease, because it's only at that time that a person's eyes will be open for him to understand the true nature of all that transpired throughout his life, and he will finally grasp how everything he went through, all the suffering, were but Hashem's circuitous roots, all for the good that led him to his goal. The Korban Todah, the Thanksgiving offering, and the festival of Purim are deeply connected, because our sages also teach that in that same Atid Lavo, that rectified future when the world is set to right, all the festivals will become irrelevant except for Purim, which will forever be observed. Everybody knows that Purim is the holiday of turnabout and hidden divine providence. Our ancestors who experienced that first Purim were surely perplexed. Where was God to be found? Were they to fall victims to Haman's evil? Had they been abandoned? They didn't perceive His presence in their predicament. He purposely concealed Himself behind the veils of their convoluted experiences, forcing them to search Him out and to search themselves. There is a certain elusive paradox which itself powers Purim joy. On the one hand, people dress up and wear costumes, like a celebration of Hashem's concealment, like a nod and a wink to Hashem. We're on to you, even though you are totally concealed in this world as you were in the scroll and story of Esther. Life is a masquerade. We get that. Even as the scroll of Esther unfolds the story of the Jewish people's miraculous deliverance from the wicked Haman's plot, God's name is not mentioned even once. On the other hand, all the masks and concealment falls away on Purim, as it is the day that most succinctly expresses the Holy One's love. On that day, we realize that nothing could be clearer to us than Hashem's presence in our lives. And this incongruity offers us more than just an insight into the nature of the Purim miracle. It challenges us to comprehend a deeper understanding of our relationship with God and to internalize that understanding so that it's accessible to us all year long. The secret that Purim and the Thanksgiving offering share is a reflection of the same illumination, a burst of recognition, a flash of insight coming from the deepest place in our being, the place of thanks for all Hashem's kindnesses, the stuff of our lives, both hidden and revealed. And this is the deepest lesson in the world. This wellspring of thanks that emerges from the keenest recognition of Hashem's presence in our lives, the essence of Purim, will be the norm in that future rectified world. And the message of all the other festivals will be irrelevant, as all the other aspects of the temple service will no longer apply, since God and His name will be one, and everything will be understood as a manifestation of Hashem's kindness only. Our world is not yet rectified, but Hashem is beyond time and space, and Purim is from Hashem's perspective. On Purim, we get a fleeting glimpse at how He's really looking at us all year round. We get a foretaste of the true experience of the Korban Todah. Purim is the time of the deepest realization that no matter how things appear, God's presence is right there with us, even in the darkest times, guiding us and delivering us. Purim and the Thanksgiving offering are both a flash from the future. They both express a profound spiritual revelation and a feeling of the deepest thanks, shining a light from the future, from the rectified world, from the Holy Temple. May we merit to that light. Purim Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. Shalom. Warmest blessings from Jerusalem. Thank you for supporting Jerusalem Lights. We hope everyone has a wonderful, light and love and joy-filled Purim and Shabbat Shalom.